settle into our meditation posture as best we can. Well, let me just adjust the sound a little bit. Okay. So we've been kind of working a little bit on getting in touch with that place of stillness inside of us. So check your posture. If you're sitting at a desk, have your feet flat on the floor in probably about a hip's width apart. Other than that, I would suggest if you're sitting in a cross-legged position that you put something kind of firm, maybe about 2 inches in height, underneath your sits bones. And the hands can be resting actually wherever is comfortable for you for the purposes of this meditation. And the shoulders are aligned with the hips. To put you back on gallery so I can see you. Shoulders are aligned with your hips. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light. And that light string is stretching from the base of your spine. So imagine your coccyx all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So just imagine your spine is lengthening. You're getting taller, longer. And allow the head to very gently hinge forward from the top of the neck. The eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose, and the tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And just relax your jaw. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head. And relax your scalp and forehead and eyes, nose and cheeks, area around your mouth. Relax the back of the head. So you can just relax that area at the base of the skull, the occipital bone. And then relax your ears and your inner ear. And the jaw, back of the tongue, and the temples. Now release any tension in the back of the neck. Allow your shoulder blades and your shoulders just to drop down. And relax the throat and the chest and the belly, the limbs, and the hands and the fingers and the feet and the toes. And then bring the mind to the breath. And just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Just very subtle sensations on the outside of the nostrils and in the nostrils themselves. Maybe you can feel all those very fine hairs inside the nostrils just moving backwards and forwards with the flow of the air. So you're breathing very gently. If there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to investigate those sounds or follow them, taking your mind there. And then just be aware of your external environment, but allowing it to exist without having to go and check it out left, right, and center. And then just check what thoughts are arising in the mind. And just allow those thoughts. So trying not to judge or criticize or have opinions, just allow them to be there. And then we just observe what's going on in the mind with curiosity, a little bit like a scientist, observing, looking, checking, just seeing what's there. Now bring to mind all those people of your life. So bring to mind someone you love very dearly. And then you have all kinds of relationships with people that you adore, you love, deep and profound relationships. So bring those folks to mind, and then all the people who are a bit difficult for you, from just simple little bit of irritation to, okay, so they're a bit dangerous, so you need to stay away from them. And then there's complete strangers, kind of just briefly floating in and out of our life. And there's always these folks who are not someone we may see in the street frequently, or we don't really know them. They're kind of a stranger. So we have these kind of groups of people in our life. Interestingly, they can change place at any time. That stranger could become a very dear friend. The one you find irritating could become a stranger, or even someone that you grow to love. So one way to develop compassion and one way to develop bodhicitta, which is quite a way down the track, is to start thinking in terms of equanimity. So we start to think that this friend, this enemy, and this stranger are actually equal. They're the same as you and me in their wish to be happy, constantly looking for happiness, never quite finding it, and their wish to be free from suffering, and again, constantly trying to avoid suffering and always running into it. And then we're all the same in our incredible capacity for this enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for the benefit of all these people in our life and for all the sentient beings, and thinking particularly still so many thousands of people who've been killed in Turkey and Syria, and then so many waiting to be rescued, freezing cold, not without homes, injured, people who've lost their loved ones. So it's quite difficult for those people. So just keep them in mind. And we can bring these people into our meditation. So if you have someone who is suffering in any way, you can bring them, just put them next to you, take care of them, think of them. They can do the meditation with us. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so we can equally create positivity with our mind instead. So we sincerely regret from the depths of our heart anything that we've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. So we can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of future suffering that we might experience. So logically, it would make sense to remove those karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret our delusions, our attachment, anger, bitterness, grudges, unhealthy attachment and grasping. And this is the rest, and this is all why we cause harm to ourselves and others. So here we come to this wondering, okay, so what can I do about it? And where will I turn? Who will I turn to? So we come to here the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, and this Buddha and this doctor has the capacity to heal us. So we're not exactly asking Vajrasattva to forgive us. We don't want Vajrasattva to do the work for us. He's not going to take it away. But what he is going to do, and what he enables us to do, is the work ourselves. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher, if you see them in this way, your guru, your lama, your trusted mentor, your spiritual guide, however you see this person. And he's manifesting in this form. Your teacher will be manifesting in this form, this Vajrasattva form, for your benefit. And so Vajrasattva is made radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And his face is radiant and beautiful. His eyes are long in the shape of lotus petals, and they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have a little section here on compassion. In order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So think about people maybe you've harmed, and then think of people who've harmed you, and just try to develop a wish for them to be free from suffering, particularly for those who have harmed you, because they are going to suffer as a result of the harm and suffering they've caused you. So we make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, which is the medicine. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, and it's coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of all of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinopatita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. So be delighted that all harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there's no way you could benefit others with your body now. So the moment anybody sees you or kind of feels you, or you hug them, it benefits their mind. So next is a purification of the speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida Miboa, Sutokaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anarakta Miboa, Sawasidi, Mimpiyata Sawa Kamazita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum, Ha 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 Ho, Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Miboa, Sutokaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anarakta Miboa, Sawasidi, Mimpiyata Sawa Kamazita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel so incredibly happy. Your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything now other than be of benefit to others with your speech. So every single syllable that falls out of your mouth and is heard by another sentient being is of benefit to them. So say someone is talking to you, maybe they're feeling a bit depressed. So somehow every single word that you say to them is of benefit to their mind. So you would have the wisdom to know what's going to be appropriate to say in that moment. So it would be such a wonderful skill. And even anyone hears the sound of your voice, that they don't even quite hear what you're saying, but they hear the sound of your voice, it benefits their mind. So this would be amazing. So now we purify the mind. Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the switch, the light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So as I've been saying, try that next time you walk into a room and you turn on a light. And don't think I'm just going to turn the light on. Think I'm going to dispel the darkness. And then it's the same here. So the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all attachment, anxiety, depression, neediness, and anger, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sabasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. So be just delighted that your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering, our own delusions, and this is the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech. So you can just imagine that they're all gone, purified, so no more harm. And think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is a purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time you can imagine that Vajrasattva sends out light and nectar, and it fills you completely, and it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. So now just imagine you're completely purified and there's not an atom of negativity in your mind stream. So even those subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And so now we come to the fourth step in the process, which is the power of resolve. And this is such an important step, really, because, we don't do anything unless we decide that's something that we're going to do. So we have to make some kind of decision that we're not going to harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And it's probably not going to be ever again, but we can have that as a long-term goal. But we can start by thinking about, I'm going to refrain from something. So if your habit is to gossip or to sort of criticize or whatever the habit is that you have, you just say, well, I'm just going to refrain from this, or I'll be aware of it for 5 minutes or overnight while I'm sleeping, because you won't break the vow to yourself because you will be sleeping. Or if, 5 minutes is too long, think of like 30 seconds. So we just start slowly and humbly. And this determination to try and refrain from things is what gives us strength to start to change. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think my Guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And so we can just have a little bit of a meditation on emptiness. I think there in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So you just place your mind there for a moment, and remembering that all phenomena are empty. They don't exist necessarily from their own side. We can also think that perhaps the way things appear to us might not necessarily be the way they really exist. So let's just dedicate all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. For Lama Zopa Rinpoche. O Tub Shul Chang Jin Jam Gon Galloway, Tenzing Kyong Pelaway, Kunzo Dog Porze, Chog Sum Kurwe Leg Mon Tu Drum, Pa Dag Sog Dulaje, Gondu Jab Ten Shog. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Shera, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Oh, there we go. Gone like a dream. And yet another day in paradise disappeared out of our lives. Make the most of it, everyone. You never know when it's going to be our last breath. Anyway, sleep well, everybody. Lots of love, sweet dreams, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.